Okay, hey guys, this is Tamari, and this video is going to be a real quick tutorial on how to do Fleshpound jukes. I get asked this question a lot by people, so I figured I would just make a video about it instead of trying to tell you guys through voice or text. So before I get started, I want to quickly preface this entire thing by saying that the following mechanics that I'm going to show you are very heavily dependent on RNG. It's not always guaranteed to work for factors that are outside of your control. I'll touch more about that later, but just something to keep in mind. It's not really like a thing you should completely stake your life on. So, without further ado, let me just show you what it looks like, and then I'll explain what I'm doing after. So if you haven't figured it out by now, you might have already been able to notice like what's going on here, but what's basically happening is I'm running at the Fleshpound, and then as soon as I pass by him, I just turn really sharply to the side. And this causes him to try to attack me, and he misses me. And so the reason why this works out is because if you imagine that marker there as being an FP, right when I get to about here, I want to very quickly turn as sharp as I can around his body inward like this. So if I go from this side, it would be the opposite, right? I would go this way. And the reason why this works is because when he tries to attack you, he takes a really wide arc, and by you turning really sharply, you're turning inside of that arc, and therefore he can't hit you. And so you're exploiting his radius, basically. Now, that's honestly all there is to say as far as how to do it. It's the same regardless if he's raised or not. You just run to his side and you turn really sharply. But obviously, like, this is going to be more useful for when the FP is raised, right? Because the point of this mechanic is to avoid damage. So, with that out of the way, there's a couple things I want to address about jukes that I think is important to bring up. And number one is that you can only really do this with a perk that's fast. So that would be 4 perks in the game. It would be Gunslinger, Berserker, Field Medic, and Survivalist with the Melee Expert skill. The other perks are not... It's not necessarily impossible to do it with them, but it's definitely a lot harder because they move slower. And keep in mind as well that the more weight you have on your character and the lower your health is, the slower you move. So it's going to make it even harder to do, especially on those slower perks. The next thing I want to say is talking about, when the right place and time to do this is. It's pretty often when I teach people this mechanic that they want to just do it on everything, and I understand that it's fun and it's real flashy and it feels cool, right? But you want to be really careful about doing it in specific circumstances. You especially don't want to do it in your teammates, for one. That's kind of an obvious thing, I think probably I don't have to explain, but you don't want to do it in your teammates. The point is to avoid damage, and if you're getting your teammates hit, then you're not really avoiding damage, you're just passing the damage on to someone else. And I don't think they're going to be very happy with you for that. The other time that you don't really want to do this is just when when you're low. Like, if you're on low health, you might be tempted to do it, but remember that being low actually reduces your speed even more, so it's less likely you're going to pull it off. You're much better off just shooting the Fleshpound when you're low and hoping you get the kill than trying to go for the dodge. But when it can be useful, though, is when you're in spots like here, where, if you get knocked off this girder thing here, this platform, then you actually will have to kite, and if you can manage to dodge the FP and not get knocked off, then you don't have to kite, and that can actually save you, from dying or whatever. It can mean the difference in the game winning or losing. So the last thing I want to talk about is the randomness factor, and that was what I brought up at the beginning of this video. So Fleshpounds have specific attacks that are difficult to juke, and I'm hoping I can get him to do it soon, like right off the bat, so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's that one there. So I actually dodged it, which is unintentional, but he did like an attack there that was like him sort of punching with both of his arms, one after another. And that's the attack that I was trying to point out that's really hard to dodge. If he does that attack, it's very likely you're going to take damage because he not only puts the hitbox out earlier, but he also can turn while doing it sharply, and he usually will catch you while you're trying to go around him. If he does that, you're just going to have to take the damage and soak it up. But it's the reason why I said that I wouldn't stake your life on this 100%, because you can't control when he does that. Sometimes he just does it 4 times in a row, and that's just how the game be. So just something to keep in mind. And there's also one more thing I want to show you with unraged Fleshpounds. There's oftentimes where a Fleshpound will walk up to you and he'll immediately hit you, like the first frame that his animation starts. So let me actually derate him here. It's probably going to take a while for me to get it to happen, but when that happens, there's really nothing you can do about it. That's actually a glitch in KF2, where sometimes Fleshpounds can instantly attack you. If that happens, you're again just going to have to take the damage, unfortunately. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him to do it, so you might have to just take my word for it, but I'll try a couple more times here. Yeah, actually, there you go. Perfect. So he did it right there. There was a moment where like I walked up to him, and then like as soon as he started to move, I just instantly got hit by his attack. That's a bug in KF2 that you can't really control. And again, just like the other attack that he does when he's raged, if that happens, you just have to take the damage. There's really nothing you can do about it. So that's all I really have to say about things to keep in mind. Before I close out this video, I thought that I would offer you guys some tips, excuse me, for practicing this. So number one I would recommend is practicing both sides. You probably noticed by now that my dominant side is going to his left and turning to the right, like this. But try to do it the opposite side as well. Get used to doing it from the other way, because there's a good chance that you may not be able to do it from the side you want to do it on when it's time. There's that frame 0 attack again. Nothing I can do. He even did the left hook, right hook attack, so again, nothing I can do about it. But yeah, practice both sides, and just try to get the hang of both directions. And that sort of leads into the next thing I want to talk about, which is try to see how many jukes you can do in a combo. So, raise the FP, right, and then initiate a juke and see how many in a row you can do before he hits you. My best score for this, I think, was like 18. Okay, he's being kind of an asshole right now, and he's doing the punching attack that I can't dodge, so not really my fault. He did it again. I guess if anything, this is good proof for you, whoever's watching this, to see like why I said that attack is hard to dodge, because it really is. Like, I'm not really doing anything wrong there. He's just attacking so fast that I can't really do anything about it. And he really just likes to do that right now. There we go, finally. So yeah, just keep doing this in a row and see how many you can do without getting hit. So, I'll leave that at that. And then the last thing I'd like to show you before I close the video is that you can actually use juking to initiate a circle strafe. So let me spawn a fresh Fleshpound here. And a circle strafe is when you basically run in circles around the FP. So it's best done right after a juke, like this. So I juke the FP, and then immediately begin like wrapping around him as tightly as I can. And when you do this, it really confuses his AI, and he actually, like, most of the times just can't hit you. If anything, this is like free damage for you and for your teammates, so if you manage to pull this off and get an FP stuck like this, you can just get a free kill. But yeah, juking facilitates this really easily. So anyway, that's actually all I've got to show now. I'm going to go ahead and end the video there, but if this helped you out, I hope this helped you out, and if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.